You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Boy, oh boy. Wow. Yeah. Hello there. I'm flattered after that game, after that loss, not even a contest, really. That was terrible. After that, you're still joining me? Oh, I love you. Thank you so much. Welcome into the Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. This right here is Locked On Sports Philadelphia's YouTube channel for your Locked On Phillies Postcast. Thanks for making Locked On Phillies Postcast your first listen every day. And we're here and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This particular episode is brought to you by the wonderful people at Booking.com, Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rival's city. Book today at Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. I have it. I love it. You should have it. You should love it as well. At least as much as I do. You know that meme, that very popular social media meme of Curb Your Enthusiasm and creator of Seinfeld, Larry David? The one where he's leaving the house and he's yelling, "Bleep you, I'll see you tomorrow." And then he leaves the house, That's how I feel watching the Phillies tonight. And that's how I felt in 2 of the last 3 games where I've watched the Phillies play a terrible brand of baseball. The one game we looked at, we're like, it's a hangover game. It happens. Come see, come out. You know what I mean? And then they won. And then they went down to Washington. And what I was really crossing my fingers for tonight against the Nationals was like, Ranger, give me a quality start. Give me a quality start. And people are really confused in the quality starts. Let me just remind people, 6 innings, 3 runs or fewer. 3 earned runs or fewer is a quality start. Ranger Suarez has now gone 12 starts without recording a quality start. That's not good. Now, that's sandwiched around, unfortunately, a back issue, which put him on the IL there for a bit. And since he's come back, you start to see him inch his way back to Ranger that had like the best ERA since like 1916 or whatever it was back in the beginning of the season. And you haven't seen that. You didn't see that tonight, unfortunately. And you know what? That's going to lead me into 3 big things. And before I really get into Ranger and what went on tonight with Ranger Suarez, there's other things that we got to get into. Other things like the Philadelphia Phillies offense being god-awful. 4 hits. You know who had 2 of those hits? You know who was half the Phillies offense just from a hitting standpoint? That would be a 1. Austin Hayes. That's who it would be. And he hit a home run. He hit a home run off a righty. Don't think I've forgotten about trashing him against right-handed pitching, but he hit a home run off a righty today. Good for him. It was the only Phillies run of the game, as you know, because they lost 9-1, and he was the 1 run. And he had another base knock in the game today as well. So, hey, Austin Hayes, player of the game. If you're looking for some optimism, there you go. He looks healthy. So, okay, I'll go with that. Let's go right to number 2. The Phillies are still they still understand that these games count, right? Like, this is something that I hope is not lost on them. These games still count. As of right now, the Dodgers and the Rockies, this is what it's looking like. The Dodgers are up on the Rockies 6-1. So it might not. If the Dodgers sweep the Rockies, then it is what it is. And guess what? The best karma that you actually made for yourself during the regular season goes straight out the window because you earn yourself the tiebreak. The Dodgers obviously look like they're going to win this game tonight against the Rockies. So there's that. However, if they're tied with the best record in the National League, then the Phillies would win because of the tiebreak. But they're, of course, squandering that. Now, stay with me here. This is where I went in the dark recesses of my mind while watching the game tonight, okay? All right, so Ranger went out there. He was terrible. Let's call it what it is. Let's just jump right to it, okay? Ranger Suarez line on the night. 2 innings pitched, 6 runs, 7 hits, 2 walks, only 2 strikeouts. Damn near 60 pitches in 2 innings, people. Holy Stromboli. Like a 42-pitch first inning, I believe it was. Oh, my goodness gracious. That's terrible. So anyway, Ranger, 6 earned runs, 6 runs in total, 7 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1 home run, 59 total pitches thrown. So we can go ahead and agree that that's not it. We can go ahead and all those, hey, that's not Ranger Suarez. That's not the guy that we were hoping we were going to be getting in the second half of the season, or at least the guy we were hoping we were getting when he came back from the IL. That's not him at all. And I was looking forward to this game where maybe Ranger Suarez goes out there and, he at least gives you 6 innings, the 3 runs, at least gives you that quality start, as I mentioned earlier. And maybe gives you that confidence that if you need to go to him in a postseason series, he will be a lot closer to the Ranger Suarez you saw in the first 3 months of the season. He didn't do that tonight. I was looking for a get-right start, and I forget who it was my man Crazy, who hits us up in the chat and tweets me during games and stuff like that, or responds to tweet, whatever. So I'm talking to him on the thing, and he goes, shocked. And I go, I'm thinking about, I don't really shocked. I wouldn't say I'm shocked. Disappointed. Because I still thought Ranger would get better and better. I thought Ranger would improve. I will say I wasn't betting on the idea that he'd allow 6 runs on 7 hits and 2 innings of work. But that's exactly what happened tonight, unfortunately. I wasn't betting on it, but I'm not surprised that it happened. Because he has, unfortunately, had his fair share of struggles over the last 2 months of the season. And what you've seen from him now in his last 12 starts, still dating back to the end of June, leaking into July, where things started to really fall apart for him, he has not been that same guy. The curveball has not had the break. The 12-6 curveball has been just hanging. The sinker, velocity has been an issue. The sinker hasn't had the same type of life on it either. You're not getting a great run on the fastball or the sinker in those situations, so that's not nearly the same range as far as that we had seen. The changeup is hanging up in the zone, and you're seeing these guys just be able to time them perfectly and then barrel up baseballs over the fence or in the gaps. It's wild to watch the unfortunate, awful turnaround from Ranger Suarez this season. And now I think it's just set. I mean, you know what your starting rotation is going to be. You know you're going to have Zach Wheeler. You're going to have either Aaron Nola or Christopher Sanchez. Now, if it's me, I still go Aaron Nola. I don't go to Suarez. I go to Nola. So Nola's got the experience. He's been pitching great as of late. Suarez, of course, has pitched well throughout the entire season. The only way I would see Suarez moving to the middle of that 3-man rotation right there is if Tinker Topper decides to tinker a little bit and say, hey, you know what? Let's split up the righties and get the lefty there in the middle. Still don't think he's going to do that to Aaron Nola, but without question, the guy that is the number 1 starter on this rotation, no doubt about it, is obviously Zach Wheeler, who, again, is likely going to be the runner-up to the Cy Young Award of the National League. So I'm looking at this game tonight. I just wanted to see something from Ranger Suarez that would give me some amount of confidence, some amount of hope that if you need to go to him for a start in the postseason, even if it's in a role where you just need a couple of innings to start things out, or maybe he comes in after an opener, God forbid, I hate those games. But yeah, at least have him there in the bullpen raring to go. Now, I referenced earlier the deep, dark recesses of my mind. Do you want to hear my own little conspiracy theory? Do you want to hear it? Do you want to go into the dark places of my mind? Okay, come on in. Here it is. This game was a protest game. This game was the Phillies saying, hold the phone. We're going to get this close against the Dodgers. We're going to get this close to getting the number 1 overall seed, and you're still going to pitch Taijuan Walker in September? In the last 2 weeks of the season, you want to do that to us? Fine. We'll stick it to you, Dave Dombrowski. Of course, this makes no sense. This is just the ravings of a lunatic who was very frustrated around the 3rd, 4th inning of this game, realizing the Phillies were going to lose, realizing that the season is going to come down to being the number 1 seed or not, based on the final 2 games of the season where you can't beat the Washington Nationals. That's where we're at right now. There you go. Why should we even bother to play? If the front office doesn't even want to win games, why should we even bother to play? They want to have Taijuan Walker. Yeah, it's still a Taijuan Walker. Talk about a hangover. The only hangover I really accept is that the idea that the Phillies fans could be looking at it as Ranger Suarez pitched in September in meaningful games. No way. That's amazing. It drives me crazy tonight to see the offense struggle the way they struggled tonight. To see Ranger Suarez struggle the way he struggled tonight. And then what was the cherry on top of it all in this game that still very much counted, where you're still trying to fight for the number 1 seed in the National League and still the best record in baseball to have home field advantage throughout the postseason, including the World Series. That'd be nice too, right? The thing that drives me crazy is not only did you get spanked tonight, not only did Ranger Suarez struggle mightily tonight, not only did you only have 4 hits with Austin Hayes having 2 of them, how dare you, Phillies, attempt a double steal with Nick Castellanos coming to the dish in the 3rd inning. Now, I understand. It was a 6-0 ball game, okay? But it's only the 3rd inning. You don't know when Kyle Schwarber is going to get hot. You don't know if Bryce Harper could do something special. You don't know if Trey Turner is going to go. This offense, one thing they have been able to do is every once in a blue moon, the blink of an eye, oh, wow, 5 runs. Look at that. How'd that happen? And really at any point, I can't stand dumb baseball. And the term Bush League comes to mind. I think I tweeted a Little League play. I would like to humbly apologize to every Little Leaguer ever, because that was a disparaging comment against Little League baseball. I will say this, Bush League. The Phillies double steal attempt in the 3rd inning with their hottest hitter at the plate in Nick Castellanos and runners at the corners and 2 outs at a game you're struggling to get. A double steal, getting 1 run in that situation is not going to turn the tides of a game. But maybe in a, what was at the time, a 1-2 count to Nick Castellanos, ended up throwing the second ball. It was 2-2 count at the time the steal actually happened. You try the double steal. Turner takes second. Hayes is on third, tries to come home. Thrown out by a country mile. And Nick Castellanos has to walk off back to the dugout, stranding the runner at third, even though it wasn't his fault. And Trey Turner would have been scoring position. If they just would have had Trey Turner steal, which I'm fine with in that scenario, because, he's fast and stuff. You could have had a situation there, 2-2 count to Nick Castellanos, runners on second and third. And it's a 6-0 game, but it's the 3rd inning. Anything can happen in a ball game, especially when it's a team like the Washington Nationals, who, it's crazy. I don't know if people have noticed this. They suck. They're terrible. Okay. They're not like a, Chicago White Sox, like historically terrible, but they're a pretty terrible baseball team. And the Phillies have had a lot of success against them this year. So maybe this is an opportunity where, I don't know, Castellanos goes yard in that situation. Maybe he puts one in the gap, 2 runs scored at 6-2. Feel a little bit different about the game. Maybe he gets something going again. Then maybe the guys after him in the lineup, maybe they actually go out there and they start hitting a little bit. You don't know. Likely would it happen? No. But here's what I do know. I'd like the opportunity. A double steal in that situation. Bush League, and I'd like to apologize to the Little League Association of America for throwing them under the bus in that fashion, to rip the Phillies, saying that that's a Little League play. No, it's below Little League. It's Bush League is what it is. And when you see your team struggling and they try BS like that, they tried it against the Mariners. I want to say it was in the game before the Marsh catch where he lost it in the sun, right? Where his retinas were burning and he caught it somehow. I think it was the game before that they tried the double steal. I know it was in that series, and it was the double steal trying to steal home. I think Harper was trying to steal home, and we all thought it was Bush League then. They tried it again in this series, Bush League. To try that against the Washington Nationals, to need that against the Washington Nationals, Bush League. Against the Mariners, at least they were a team fighting for first place. They might have been in first place still at the time before the Diamondbacks, or Houston took them over, rather. So look at that. Look at that. We're all having fun, except when we watch the Phillies. These games count. For those that have forgotten, these games very much count. When we come back, 2 things I want to focus on. 1, Reese Hoskins. Still love you, buddy. And 2, something that happened in baseball that I was a little surprised at how much it hit me. We'll talk about that when we come back. This is Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, Locked On Phillies postcast. Back in a second. Robin Hood Gold. With Robin Hood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial flavors and favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, received unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. That's Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. I didn't expect it. The Oakland A's no longer being the Oakland A's, like physically seeing it, that is upsetting to me. They've been there for over 50 years. I know with the history of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Athletics a million years ago and all that stuff. I mean, I was born in 1982. So those A's at the end of the 80s and into the 90s and the Bash Brothers and Ricky Henderson and those guys, like not even talking about like the 70s, right? Not even talking about Reggie Jackson trying to fit his fro under that helmet. You know what I mean? Like seeing the Oakland A's not be there anymore. Did anyone else in my age range feel really weird about that? Like it's expected. And I've been out there. Oh man, I've been to that the Oakland County Coliseum. It is terrible. Oh God, is it awful? But it really did hit me that when I was watching the game yesterday, I went, "Oh, this really does suck." Them moving, the A's fans in Oakland losing them obviously sucks. And then I just think about the nostalgia of that uniform in that area. That did it hit me more than as just as a baseball fan in general. Plus, could you imagine losing your baseball team? I know some people tonight they think of the Phillies are like, I can lose them tonight, that's for sure. But like, I my heart goes out to them in all honesty, and I know that people look at it, support the team while they were there. Well, it's kind of hard. I mean, you're talking about Moneyball being the big thing out there for a long time, right? And that was probably their best moment of the last few years, last couple decades, actually. So that's a rough one. Sorry to see that. It definitely hit me just from a nostalgia standpoint, thinking about the teams that I grew up like appreciating. Like if you were a kid and you're like Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco are hitting bombs and Ricky Henderson stealing bases, and you're hearing Ricky Henderson says and Ricky Henderson does, that whole thing with Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson says yes, Ricky Henderson says goodbye. I'm Ricky Henderson saying goodbye. This is Ricky Henderson. Ricky Henderson. David Cross is a great bit on that if you haven't heard it. It just sticks with you, and it does hit. And I had to acknowledge it on the show. As a baseball show, felt like it was something that needed to be acknowledged. Maybe let me know in the comments if that hit you as well. Just feeling like it's weird that the Oakland A's aren't going to be a thing anymore. You know what I mean? And they're moving. Obviously, they're moving. Secondly, Reese Hoskins, ladies and gentlemen, for those Brewers, it means nothing for the Phils other than the fact that it helps the idea of the Mets not being in the postseason. Reese Hoskins tonight, the Brewers are taking on the Mets in Milwaukee, and your boy, Reese Hoskins, stepped up to the plate in the first inning and hit a grand salami to left center field. How about that? Now a 6-2 game in the bottom of the fourth inning as we speak, with the Brewers over the Mets right now in Milwaukee as they play that series against the Brewers tonight, the Mets and the Brewers. So love to see that. And it was against Sean Manaea, who the Phillies, good Lord, couldn't figure out when they faced him. But it certainly looked like the Brew Crew, along with Reese Hoskins, was able to figure it out tonight against him. Here's what I'm going to be looking for in the chat. I want to set it up for the next segment here, okay? Give me your starting rotation. Do you go Sanchez in the middle? Do you go Nola number 2? And then give me your closer. And you could say situationally. I'll allow it. Hoffman, Estevez, situational. Matchups. You let me know what you want to do there when it comes to the postseason. And then if you're as infuriated as I am watching a Phillies performance like this, where they lose 9-1 against the Washington Nationals, granted, look, you could win the last 2 games of this series, and the Dodgers just they could lose both of them. You know what I mean? It could still happen. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for that, but it doesn't look likely. All right, when we come back, I want to take your comments on that, see how you guys are feeling going into this final 2-game stretch of the season. 4:05 start time tomorrow. We'll get into that as well when we come back. This is Locked On Phillies postcast and the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Booking.com. Booking.yeah. This particular episode of Locked On Phillies postcast is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about other than just Philadelphia, of course, with hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com. You might just find the perfect stay, even in your baseball rival's city during the postseason. Postseason travel plans? Booking.com's got you covered. Booking.com's wide variety of choices across the United States. You could go incognito in all your baseball rival cities. And it's not for just baseball. For myself, I've used it just for vacations. I've used it to travel for baseball, whether it goes to, or I go to Wrigley, use Booking.com to book a hotel in Chicago and Wrigleyville, have myself a good time. Or in a couple of weeks, going to be going to Puerto Rico. Thank you to Booking.com and the Booking.com app for finding me a fantastic hotel stay. Looking forward to that. Booking.com can help you book a stay that's close to your home team or your rival stadium. No matter what team you're rooting for this postseason, Booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city. From hotels that look over stadiums to family-friendly resorts to cute bed and breakfast stays. Booking.com has so many choices across the United States. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rival city. Go to Booking.com. That's Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Prize Picks. We all have a good time on Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. And all you got to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy. So that if your lineup stay is in play, even if one of the players, so your lineup stays in play, rather, even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half of a football game, let's say, and doesn't return, with your picks, Prize Picks are still live. Prize Picks puts your members first, so all the withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit with Prize Picks, unlike tonight, unfortunately, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you could still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You could double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB. And get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus dollars. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, before we get to the chat, let me just hit you right now with this one, okay? I'll hit you with this one right now, okay? Tomorrow, the Philadelphia Phillies send Zach Wheeler to the hill, so we feel a little better about life in that regard. I know I feel a little bit better about life in that regard. He'll be opposed by Mackenzie Gore. That goes down at 4:05 tomorrow. Just end the season on a hot streak. It can't even be hot streak now. What am I even saying? They could win the next 2 games 10-0. And I'd still feel like, not hot enough. Jamie, I can't put your comment up first. It's the first one I see, but I can't put it up, but I agree with you. Morgan Landy, hello. Listening to the game on my drive home, Scott Fransky and Ranger said Ranger gave up 6 runs. The last regular season start going into the playoffs. Oh, damn, the last 2 years. Just a thought. Being extremely hopeful. Yeah, but last year, Ranger Suarez at the end of the year had a great September. I remember I think he righted the ship at the end of August, and then I think in September he was great. I think I have that right. But I remember it was the same thing. July hit, and he was terrible. Terrible. August, okay, we're playing some baseball. And then September is like, all right, this guy should be getting starts in the postseason. Evelyn, hello. Farzy, I don't want to hear another negative comment about Hayes. He just hit a home run. He hit it off a righty. Props, all right? Credit where credit's due. Congratulations, Austin Hayes. And I'm glad you're healthy, okay? I'm glad you're healthy. But if I still see Johan Rojas on the bench, I swear to goodness sakes. Oh, man, hold on. Is this a Karnak? Oh, hold on. No, let's do it justice. What do I have here? Some old instructions. Okay. Do I have a hat of any kind down here? There we go. Hold on. Here we go. You like how I just had this hat laying around? For the people on the podcast, it's the Fanatic hair visor hat. The Philly Fanatic. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, here we go. All right. All right. I want to make sure I do this right. All right. I hold in my hand. All right. Karnak holds the thing. Okay. says 41. And then Ed's over here, 41. Ha! And then you got to give the death stare from Carson. 41. George H.W. Bush's nickname and number of Ranger Suarez pitches in the first inning. Hey-o! Why do you encourage me, people? Why do you encourage me? Why do you encourage me in my idiot brain? Okay. Ken, thank you for that. I needed that. I definitely needed it after this game. IBH, hello. Oh, well, looks like Ranger is fried. Highest velocity is 91. Not great. The ghost of Taiwan Walker's career. This was a lot. Thank you for your wonderful attitudes after a loss like that. You guys are the best. This was alarming. How is it that this team does not show up for games that should be won? Pirates, Rockies, Marlins, and Nationals. All horrible teams that made the Phillies look very bad. Yeah. I don't know. Is this not what we're worried about? In all honesty, I keep going back to it. I understand why Phillies fans might be a little shell-shocked. I get it. World Series, Game 7 against the Diamondbacks, ignite like tonight. Frank, hello. Nothing like a team's we don't give a bleep attitude about a baseball game. As if they could turn in on and at the drop of a hat. Yep, pretty much. Evelyn, yes, Ranger horrible, but the offense, no offense, 4 hits. I know, terrible. What's going on, freaking Phils with a PH? Am I wrong, or does the offense evaporate whenever they get smacked around at the start of a game? Yes, absolutely. Crazy. There you are. Scary thinking we're going to have to play Ranger in the playoffs and just hope he has his stuff. Maybe not. Ian Corin, Ranger Walker? Bam Man 100, an incredibly discouraging game. Same old problem of an offense that just goes dead. And one of our playoff starters looking awful. Not ideal. Not ideal. Hey, it's a good thing Dave Dombrowski, though, didn't get that 5th starter at the deadline. Swinging says he almost went to the game. Farzi, what's up? Is this team even trying to get the number 1 seed? It doesn't appear so. All games come down to Ranger. It all comes down to Ranger. Yeah, great. Well, that was a disaster, says Lisa Wicks. Bam Man 100. Hayes also had that terrible attempt to steal home. That one was, I want to assume that was on by the team. I'll go give a quick look-see around the Twitterverse and see if anybody comes up with anything that was, what the heck specs? Let's see here. Allora. The Phillies tonight, I'm looking for Rob Thompson after the game to see if anybody said anything about that steal being on. Nothing from that reporter. Let me try my man Sides, Corey Seidman. Nope. Oh, here's a fun nugget. Ranger Suarez has allowed 35 earned runs in his last 51 innings. Last quality start was June 25th. Wah, wah. Thank you, Corey. My goat is washed. I'm nervous for game 4. J-Love 47. Hello, J-Love. We're not ready for the playoffs. We have way too many offensive disappearing acts. This team is too inconsistent and streaky to win a World Series. Taiwan fever is contagious. Thank you, MP. TR. Wait, what? What happened? Okay. Martin Truther. Great name. Ranger is officially cooked. Without him in the playoffs, we are left with only 3 pitchers, one of them being the wild card, Nola, who gets shelled every other third game. The Phillies are doomed. Yeah, it doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel great. Storm 24, I guarantee you the Phillies won't win the World Series. All right. Well, that's no fun. Graham, really? Are you kidding me, Phillies? For the people on the podcast, kidding is all caps. I felt like I put the right emphasis on that. KC, Ranger has always been an okay pitcher, not great. Well, that's not true. I mean, if you're talking about for a full season, yeah, it balances out, unfortunately. But for 2 or 3 months, you're seeing a guy who could be a Cy Young winner, and then far from it, unfortunately. Here we go. Closers should be situational. I'd lean to Hoffman. Yeah, I agree with that. Situational with a lean to Hoffman. Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, Ranger. Ranger on a leash, closer, Hoffman. Okay. Evelyn, hello again. Yes, it's sad about the A's. I feel bad for the fans. I saw a post of a guy holding a sign saying he was there for the first pitch and we'd be there for the last pitch. That made, oh, gosh, I didn't see that. That is, tugging at the heartstrings. Bandman 100, Wheeler, Sanchez, Nola, situational closer, Hoffman over Esty. In most circumstances, I'm freaking steaming right now. Bandman, I'm with you. Bandman, I prefer Nola third because I trust him more on the road. Okay, I like that. I don't think Nola will view it as a snub. That's a good point. That's a really good point, Bandman, because Sanchez's numbers on the ROAD are not great. They're terrible from what I remember. That's a really good point. Marsh was awful in center field tonight. Yeah. Alan Shuford, first time joining live. What the hell was that? Alan, I wish I knew, but I'm glad you're joining us live. Thank you. Appreciate you. Bandman 100, I'm sure Dusty and Rob have Hayes to go ahead. Yep, pretty much. I usually listen every morning on my way to work. Glad I finally joined on live. Thanks, Farzy. Thank you, Alan. Nice to have you. Appreciate you. Farzy can't bench the bar. What's up? Farzy, this is not a World Series team. If they win the National League, will you bring out the bar and do 10 reps? All right, now you listen to me. Farzy can't bench the bar. What's the thing here? If they win the NL, if they win the National League. No, well, why am I punishing myself for something I hope they do? I'll tell you why. Because I'm a team player. That's why. All right, Farzy can't bench the bar. So here's what I'm going to do. They win the National League. I will rep the bar 11 times. You said 10, I up you. I raise you 1. I will rep an average 45-pound bar off the bench. I will bench it. I will rep it 11 times like a real man. Graham, hello. First off, Farzy can't bench the bar. Remind me, because I'll forget. Graham, hello. Still playing this hot and cold brand of baseball, which won't cut it in the playoffs. Can't believe this result today. It is terrible. Farzy can't bench the bar. Yes, there we go. Now we have something to be excited about. Now you're rooting for them to win the National League. Anyway, thanks everyone in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. My name is Mark Farzad. This right here is Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Locked On Phillies postcast. Quick update on the Dodgers. I don't even care that they're now 9. They're winning 9-2 in the top of the 6th inning against the Colorado Rockies. I don't even care because the effort tonight by the Phils was. I'll say it. Ready? Here's a technical term. Okay, piss poor. That's what it was. 10-2 now. Good Lord. Edmund just hit a sac fly. Okay. I'm done with you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been at least a pleasure hanging with you guys. That's for damn sure. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzad. And once again, this is Locked On Phillies postcast and a Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you like it. Did I say 10-2? I think I said 10-2. Bam, man, thank you. Yeah, 10-2. Did I get the last one there on the sack fly? Yeah, okay. 6th inning. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Now the middle of the 6th inning. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzad. Like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. And also, don't forget, I don't have you for Eagles coverage, okay? Jason Martinez and Harry Mays have you for Eagles coverage right here on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. So they got you covered. Locked On Sports has got you covered just like that as well. Thanks, everybody. Be back with you guys tomorrow evening after a 4:05 start time with Zach Wheeler on the bump. All right? See you then. Bye.